Hello everyone and welcome to Homestead for Living. I'm out in our backyard, which we recently built a septic field in. And when we did so, we had to bring in earth moving equipment that turned the topsoil into this. It removed the topsoil, and all we have left is clay and rocks, not good soil. I did a video about how we're remedying that. We did some mulching, and then we planted tons of nitrogen fixers, primarily clover. And so that's been working and improving this soil, but in the meantime, we wanted to use this space right away. And so we also took the opportunity to plant wildflowers, who tend to be really hardy and can grow in pretty poor soil. And as you can see, we've still got some going here, but largely they are starting to die out, just like everything. It's so hot, it's so dry, and they've been doing a great job of bringing in pollinators. But as they die out, they start to get these crusty brown seed heads that used to be flowers. And so I want more wildflowers. I want to bring more pollinators in. They're great allies. You know, it's a very, very significant, noticeable difference when you have a lot of bees and birds pollinating. You're going to get measurably higher yields with fruit and, well, really anything. So we need to bring these allies in, and we need to be feeding them. And so these have been doing their jobs, and even when they're dry and crusty, they're also doing their jobs because those seeds inside are delicious food for a lot of these animals as well. However, I want to keep the flowers going and really keep these pollinators going, and I want to propagate this. So I can save these seeds from these wildflowers, and this applies to anything, whether it's your basil or a flower or a radish seed pod, just about anything. When it gets dry and crunchy and brown, it's ready to save some seeds. So I could save these in a baggie and make my own wildflower mix, but I am considerably lazier than that. So I'm simply going to propagate them by crumbling them up. You can see what it looks like inside here. Lots of little seeds. And then just spread them throughout the field wherever I want. And I'll take them to the front area of the property and really throughout the margins, the edges of the fields, everywhere. And I'll just grab handfuls of these dry, crunchy brown flower heads and spread these wildflowers and probably get another good round of these in, at least in the spots where there's water. And some of them might just get buried and lie dormant and eventually come back next spring. I may choose to save some of them, we'll see. Because we do want to plant next spring, and we love to not buy seeds on this farm. We like to buy seeds the first time around, and after that we start propagating our own. Not only because we're cheap, but also because every single year the seeds we save are more and more and more adapted for this property. If you plant, let's say 100 wildflower seeds, maybe 20 of them actually come up. That other 80% of them, they just weren't real. Like, if I gave them perfect conditions, maybe they would have made it. But in substandard conditions, these are the survivors that made it. That's the seeds I'm holding. So these are already adapted to my soil, my growing conditions, the amount of light in this yard, everything. And so whether it's vegetables or flowers, whatever, we really want to be propagating these lines that are specific to this property, or at least specific to Middle Tennessee, because if we move, they're still going to bring some of those traits with them. So I encourage everybody not to just plant wildflowers everywhere, because obviously, besides the natural beauty of them, they're incredibly beneficial to your property. They really bring in the animal employees that you need to get good production. But it also offers an opportunity to start propagating better lines of wildflowers that will come back year after year. I'm sure many of these will cell seed. You saw those dry heads. A lot of those will just drop off into the ground. They'll get buried by the next rain, and they'll come up on their own. So we'll have a constant influx of wildflowers to beautify the yard and bring in those pollinators. So I just wanted to make a quick note about that. I had an opportunity while I was out in the yard doing some watering, and I'm going to be spreading these wildflowers just everywhere throughout the property, and they're going to continue to do great work for us. So encourage y'all to do the same. In the meantime, everybody, stay safe, be well, and happy homesteading.